Thanks for taking time to push play one more time on another team leader training session. You've already learned about your role as a team leader and the primary way that you'll carry out that role by making a weekly phone call to each of your leaders. We talked to you about the 4 kinds of coaching calls that you'll make on a rotating basis, and we devoted previous sessions to the first of those 3 of those calls. Well, this is another one of those. I'm sure by this point you've already gotten your viewing guide ready, but in case you haven't, pause the video, print it out right now. Okay, get ready to fill in the blanks on the viewing guide as we go along, and then hold on to it for future reference. Your campus director will also be getting with you about this information. Okay, now let's get on with the training for the group mission call. To get us started on this, I want to remind you back at the very first training, we talked to you about your role as a leader for the sermon-based small groups. We said that this type of group has a twofold mission. Number one, like every team and group at Community Christian, it has the mission to create an environment where God-honoring relationships can happen. Jesus said that the greatest commandment was to love God with our heart, mind, soul, and strength, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. So every time we come together in every setting, we're creating a place where people can practice the second part of that command to love each other. Number 2, sermon-based small groups are also responsible to expose participants to the biblical truth from Sunday's message and to hold them accountable for living out the 5 Gs. This part of the message is a particular distinctive that sermon-based small groups play. So in this group mission call, that's where the conversation with your leader needs to be. How are you doing at creating an environment where God-honoring relationships can happen, and where group members can learn spiritual truth from the Sunday messages and be held accountable for taking next steps in their spiritual life as identified by the 5 Gs. Let me describe to you how that call might look. You call your leader at the time you both agreed to meet, you thank them for their faithfulness, you encourage them in what they're doing, then you turn the corner on this call by saying, I want us to take the rest of our time to talk about how your group is doing. Specifically, let's talk about the relational temperature of your group. By that I mean, tell me about what a normal group meeting is like. After you let them describe that for a minute or two, make sure you find out if there are people making relational connections. You might ask, does it appear like people are starting to get to know each other? Do you notice people joking each other or asking each other about prayer requests from previous weeks? Make sure you remind the leader that making the group a place where relationships can form is a vital part of the group's mission. Well, once you talk to them about that, you'll also want to talk to them about the group discussion of the Sunday messages and how that's going. Ask how people are doing with the homework and how the leader is doing at leading the discussions. But let me encourage you not to get too sidetracked by the discussion of the material. Your primary focus on the second part of the mission is to talk about how the group members are being encouraged to take next spiritual steps. Ask if people are making commitments and ask how the leader is doing at encouraging next steps. It's important that you ask specifically about the 5G questions. The 5Gs are our church's markers for moving towards spiritual maturity. Make sure that the 5G question is being asked. Because the question comes up once every 5 weeks, we found that some leaders tend to just skip over that part. Remind them that this is a primary part of their group mission and as their job as a group leader. Through this discussion, you may find out that the group is not using the DVD and that's provided for their meeting. Now, let me just say, it's not required that they play the DVD, but it is required that they cover the 5G question, and the 5G question is only provided on the DVD. So if you find that the 5G discussion is lagging, make the suggestion that they start using the DVD to encourage the discussion. On both of these missions, you'll want to offer them practical advice and promise them support as needed. If they bring up a situation that needs more attention, make sure you talk to your campus director or your division leader about the situation. Whatever you learn on this call, make sure you take real good notes so you can encourage your leader the next time the group mission call comes around, and so you can get any information for them as required. Well, that's it for this session. Thanks for watching.